So if you're looking at these answer choices, 9 squared, 3, or 3 squared is 9, 2 squared is 4, that's a clue. And if we multiplied 3a squared times 2b squared, we get 6a squared b squared. And we get the same thing down here. When we add those two together, that gives us 12a squared b squared. That's why A is the right answer. So for this one, px and px, p has to be 2. That's the only thing that would fit. And how do we get to 9? This has to be 3 and negative 3. So p is going to be 2. Since we're multiplying the difference of squares, the b term goes away, and we can just figure this out only using the 2's and the 3's. I would multiply both sides by x minus 1. On the left, it crosses out. That gives me this. I'll move all the x's to the left and all the numbers to the left. What are factors of 3 that add up to 2? That's going to be 3 and 1. So x plus 3, x minus 1. The two answers are negative 3 and a positive 1. Now I'm guessing if I was to plug one of those back in, it's not going to work. For example, if I plug in negative 3 here, that gives me 8 over negative 4 is equal to negative 2, which works. If I plug in a 1, 1 minus 1 gives me 0 over 0. So the 1 doesn't work, but the negative 3 does. It turns out the faster way of doing this is to take this initial equation and rewrite it as a difference of squares. That way you can just cancel out. And you find that x plus 1 is equal to negative 2, or x is equal to negative 3. So if I think about factoring this out, and I use the reverse box method, so I know that this has to be x to the 4th and this has to be 16. I think x squared and x squared fit pretty nicely. And then I'm thinking of different factors of 16 I could try. I could try 16 and 1, 4 and 4, 8 and 2. Which ones would add up to 8? 4 and 4. But for that to work, the 4's would both have to be negative. And then I have negative 4x squared and negative 4x squared. So in other words, I can rewrite this as x squared minus 4 times x squared minus 4, which isn't exactly what's down here, but it's a good starting point. If you remember a difference of squares, this is how you get to x squared minus 4. If you have plus 2 and minus 2, it'll cross out the b term, and you'll be left with x times x and 2 times negative 2, which is what we want. So if you expand 4 into x minus 2 times x minus 2, which is what squared means, we can pair these up like this. And when we do that, each one is x squared minus 4. So we're going to take f of x over g of x, so x cubed minus 9x over x squared minus 2x minus 3. On the top, if I factor out an x, this is x times x squared minus 9, all over x squared minus 2x minus 3. If I think about that top part as difference of squares, this is x plus 3 times x minus 3. And on the bottom, if I factor this, what are two numbers that multiply to give me 3 that add to give me 2? 3 and 1. So the 3 is going to be negative, and this is what I get. So x minus 3 over x minus 3 cancels out, and that is how I arrived at D. So we can use the reverse box method to figure out this bottom part. I know that 81x to the 4th, or negative 81x to the 4th can go there, and 16 can go there. So let's say this was 9x squared and this was negative 9x squared. What are some factors of 16 that are going to cancel out? Well, I could just do 4 and 4, and this would give me negative 36x squared and 36x squared, and they're going to go away. And that gives me what I want. So I have 9x squared plus 4 and negative 9x squared plus 4. So let's rewrite that. 2 plus 3x all over 9x squared plus 4 times 9x squared plus 4. And actually we can rewrite one of these, because if I take 2 plus 3x and 2 minus 3x and multiply those, that gives me 4 plus 9x squared, which is the same thing here. So I'll rewrite that as 2 plus 3x all over 9x squared plus 4 times 2 plus 3x, and 2 minus 3x. This part goes away, and that's how I have 1 over 9x squared plus 4 times 2 minus 3x. So they tell us that a squared plus b squared is equal to z, and ab is equal to y. So this is 4 times a squared plus b squared plus 8 times ab. So 4a squared plus 8ab plus 4b squared. I'm going to write it that way because this makes it pretty clear that I'm looking at 2a plus 4b squared. Or excuse me, 2a plus 2b. If I wanted to test it, I could try 4a squared, 4b squared, 4ab, 4ab, everything checks out. So there's my answer, 2a plus 2b squared. So if I use difference of square formula, I can replace x to the fourth minus y to the fourth with x squared plus y squared times x squared minus y squared. And you'll notice that this then replaces here. So if this whole thing is negative 3, and I'm multiplying by x squared plus y squared to get to negative 15, I can solve that x squared plus y squared is equal to 5.